gunshots, 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 gunshots. Yo, this video is gonna be about how the government intend to take everything from Diddy and leave him dead broke as a pauper, tap dancing on 42nd Street, asking for change with a big guitar case on the ground, collecting his dollar bills. Sit back, enjoy the ride, and if you subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you're not subscribed, subscribe and hit the notification bell, and definitely hit that like button. All right. You know what it is, Unique Mecca Audio, man. This right here, I got a wealth attorney that's going to break down Diddy's assets so y'all can see how the government is going after everything, and these lawyers with the civil suit is also going after everything, and how he can't and can hide what he think he's going to hide, and how they're going to come back to get it. Let's get this thing moving. All right.
Well, the latest celebrity, Sean Puff Daddy Combs, is in court, and a lot of people are asking what is going to happen to his wealth. All these assets he has, his companies, his real estate, the other wealth he's amassed over the last couple of decades, who is going to get it, and how is that protected? So I'm going to go over the cases in today's video. I'm going to talk about the criminal cases he has and also the civil cases. I'm Matt Sorensen. Let's get into it. All right, now before we get into the cases and the charges he has against him, the civil complaints against him, the judgment that's already against him, I want to lay out what his assets are. Now, a lot of people know his stuff. He's obviously very public. So I'm going to go.
All right, so let me break down what a civil case is and a criminal case. A civil case is where they're suing for monetary, gain. A criminal case is where they're suing for your liberty, meaning to lock you up. So that's the difference. Civil, they're going after the bag. Criminal, they're going after your freedom. All right, now let's get to his assets.
Go over and break this down. Now he's got his operating businesses, and he also has his real estate and investment assets. And these are going to get treated a little differently. And this would happen to you too if you were sued civilly or in a lawsuit, or you were charged criminally. By the way, I'm not here for that, to teach you how to get off of things criminally, but I want to talk about assets and how they get protected in a lawsuit. So first thing we have of Sean Puff Daddy is Sean John. Okay, I'm just going to call that SJ. You know what?
Worthless.
That brand's already freaking worthless right now. Nobody's selling it anymore. Let's just take that off the table. Nobody wants it. Okay, the next thing he's got though, Bad Boy Records or Bad Boy Entertainment. This one's critical. It's got a lot of the music in it. It's got all the rights of other artists. It has a ton of value. It creates a lot of revenue and income, and it has employees in it. And that's
Now, remember the employees, but remember that Biggie's Masters is in there. All the masters are in Bad Boy. The government is going after that. Let's get to that.
important because some of these employees that are in these complaints and cases have committed bad acts themselves and are getting sued. And so the company itself is sucked into the cases, not just Sean Puff Daddy personally, the company itself. So I'm gonna break that down here in a minute too. Now, the other one we have here is his cannabis stores. Shocker, many of you may not have known that Puff Daddy owned cannabis stores, but he does. And so we're gonna talk about how those are affected. Those are cash cows. There's a lot of green to be made in that. All the jokes, just throwing them out there. But I wanna talk about how those are gonna get affected too. Now, on the other side over here, so let's talk about this as operational businesses. Now let's talk about his assets and investments, okay? These are typically held in LLCs. He does have some LLCs. I don't know exactly the structure here. These are corporations over here that he has for Bad Boy Records and the cannabis, and this is P. Diddy down here. Now, over here, he's got some LLCs. Now, the properties he owns, he's got a property in Miami. He's got a massive property in Star Island, bought from Gloria Estefan. He's got a home in LA. I mean, this is tens, if not $100 million itself in just real property. Now, he's got investment accounts, other cash, things like that. So let's just put that over here in like brokerage. Let's just call it that for lack of anything else. Okay, now all of this is owned by Diddy. All right, now all of this comes down to him. And so when he has a lawsuit against him personally, what happens is that creditor that has sued him personally, and he's got tons of sexual assault charges that are civil. He's got some business disputes, civil cases, and all of of those civil lawsuits, when they get a judgment against Diddy, they're gonna say, hey, we wanna execute on the assets. Now this is the same thing for you individually. If you get a lawsuit against you personally, how does someone collect against your businesses? Now, one of the things that's gonna be difficult is it is actually difficult to go up into the companies and say, hey, Diddy owns this LLC that owns this real estate. I wanna go into that LLC and force to sell the property to get to the real estate. Now, in most states, you're actually able to do that, where you can force an individual owner who owns an LLC to sell assets like real property. If it's a big partnership and there's other people in it, or a corporation with other shareholders, they're not gonna be able to do that. They can't go up into the company. Now, here's what's important though, and I'm talking about civil lawsuits now here in a second. I'm gonna talk about the criminal lawsuits here in a second. I'm talking about the civil cases. Bad Boy Records is where all the money's at. I mean, he's got some real estate, let's not downplay that, but all the music, there's other artist stuff in there, not just him. There's a lot of brand value and money in Bad Boy Records, Bad Boy Entertainment. In these civil cases, they are able to sue Bad Boy Records and Bad Boy Entertainment because Diddy was acting as an employee and agent of Bad Boy Records. He had people on staff of Bad Boy Records and Bad Boy Entertainment that are out there helping orchestrate some of this BS that he was up to. And so because of that, they were acting on behalf of the company, and the company gets liability now. So they can get a judgment against Diddy personally and against Bad Boy Records and Bad Boy Entertainment. So now they got a judgment against Bad Boy Records. What can they do? They can immediately seize assets. They can go right to the company bank account of Bad Boy Records. Any assets owned in that company can now be attached by their judgment and they can collect on it. Same thing if they had a judgment against Diddy personally. Any money, anything in this brokerage account, his checking, his savings, other investment accounts just in his name, they can attach and grab those. So that's where Diddy's sitting right now, him individually if he gets a lawsuit against him, or at Bad Boy Records. Now the cannabis stores, I'm not aware of any wrongdoing there or lawsuits taking place there, so those might be protected here. What'll happen though is any judgment for Diddy's interest, if he's getting any distribution or rights of income from the company, they will be able to grab that. So Diddy's never gonna get any money out of this cannabis entity or any of those stores. It's gonna be subject to the judgment. By the way, his assets are frozen, so he's not gonna be able to move stuff around or try and maneuver anything right now. So he's kind of stuck right now with however the board is set on how his assets are structured. All right, now let's go over a civil case example. Diddy's got a dozen lawsuits against him that are civil cases. Individuals have sued him seeking compensation. Now he's got the big criminal case right now in federal court. I'm going to come back to that in a second. Totally different set of rules on how they are able to collect after criminal restitution orders. But let's talk about these civil cases he had. And this is helpful to any of you that might be business owners, real estate investors, something happens in your business. How are they able to sue me or the business? So let's look at Bad Boy Records. That is where he is most vulnerable, and here's why. A number of those civil lawsuits, they have sued P. Diddy personally as a defendant, and they have sued Bad Boy Records, Bad Boy Entertainment. Now, why did they do that? Because the lawyers are smart and they know that the money is in Bad Boy Records and Bad Boy Entertainment. And they have liability there because a lot of the BS stuff that Diddy was doing, employees paid by Bad Boy Records were actually ones out orchestrating this crap and getting these people and these drugs and these underage girls and all the nonsense we've all heard about. But these people have filed civil cases and will have liability against Bad Boy Records and against P. Diddy personally. So if they win in court and they get a judgment, and that judgment is against Bad Boy Records and against Diddy, they can collect against anything he owns personally. Any brokerage accounts he has, checking, savings, investment accounts in Diddy's name, any income that comes into Bad Boy Records, where they can force the sale of assets, of music rights, or whatever they want in that company to get their judgment paid. Now, he has hundreds of millions of dollars at risk in these cases, and because they're able to sue Bad Boy Records because of the liability there, and go after Diddy personally, I think we're gonna see some large dollars collected on these cases, and Diddy really isn't able to protect his assets. So any assets that Diddy has individually in his personal name, or the income or assets in Bad Boy Records and Bad Boy Entertainment, that is going to be at risk. He is not going to be able to protect that. All right, now let's go over to the real estate side here. Now, this is important because Diddy is a resident of the state of Florida. Florida has a unique asset protection rule that says any equity in your home, no matter the value, cannot be collected on by a creditor. Now, Diddy has a home in Star Island, Florida. This is one of the wealthiest places in the world where you can own real estate. He bought the house from Gloria Stefan, and he bought the house next door to it too. This is tens of millions of dollars that no one will be able to collect on in a civil case. Now, in a criminal case, which I'll come to in a second, they'll be able to collect on and execute that likely. But in a civil case, they cannot collect against him. If you guys remember O.J. Simpson or the Enron case, a lot of other high-profile cases, where did everybody go and put their money? They went and bought a big house in Florida because of this homestead exemption law that the state of Florida has. Now, most states have a homestead exemption that says, hey, no one can sue you and take your house up to X amount of equity. $250,000, $1 million, $100,000, $200,000, $1 million. There's a variety of amounts that are exempted in the states. Florida being the only state where there is an unlimited homestead exemption that can be protected. Tens of millions, in Diddy's case, can be protected. He's probably gonna lose it still in the criminal case, all right? Okay, because he's not protected criminally or for certain like child support orders. There are certain orders that can get through a homestead exemption, but a civil lawsuit or a regular civil judgment, he's gonna be able to be protected and keep that home. All right, now let's talk about the LLCs he has that owns real estate. Is that gonna help him? Probably not. When we're setting up an LLC, the reason people use those for asset protection is if something happens on the property. For example, a tenant in your rental slips and falls, or you have a party at your house, as Diddy does, and somebody gets hurt at the party. Many of you remember Demi Moore. She had a party at her house, someone fell in the pool and they died, and well, she was liable. Well, what can happen in that scenario is they're forced to sue the LLC if the property is owned in an LLC, and they can't come down to your personal assets. Now here, Diddy's getting sued personally. He owns an LLC that owns a property. They're likely able to blow right through that and force the seller of the home to collect on the judgment. Now, of course, if you're a civil lawyer trying to collect on the judgment, it's easier to just go after all the accounts in Diddy's personal name, right? Let's drain any cash that he might have, personal assets that he might have of value, investment accounts. Let's force all the sale of that. That's frankly the easiest to collect against. But if he goes broke on all that stuff, paying lawyer fees or settling cases, and he goes cash poor, they might have to force the sale of some of this real estate. Any of these that are owned in the LLCs, they are going to be able to get at those with the exception of the property designated at his personal residence, which is the biggest one, the one in Star Island. All right, now with respect to the criminal charges, what happens there is the case is brought by a prosecutor. In this case, the federal government is a federal case that he is being charged on, but the victims of that case are entitled to what's called a restitution order. So if the prosecution wins in that case, or if Diddy does a plea bargain, whatever's going to happen here, there's going to be a restitution order ordered by the judge that gives compensation to the victims in the case. Now, once those victims get that restitution order, they will be able to collect on his assets, okay? He's not gonna be able to hide behind corporations or LLCs with a criminal order. The courts are gonna allow those to get enforced, and they're gonna be able to collect on those assets, as they should be, okay? By the way, I'm a big proponent of people using corporations and LLCs to help protect their assets for anything that might go wrong in the business. That just makes sense. I get that. You have an LLC with a little rental property, the tenant slips and falls. You can sue the LLC and they can get what the LLC has, but they can't sue you personally. You got a small business, something goes wrong in the business, all of your assets, your equity in your home, your retirement account, your savings, all the stuff you've been trying to build all these years, that's not at risk, just the assets in the small business itself. And I like that. That makes sense. This is what the big companies do. But where we're here talking about criminal charges, that is not what LLCs and corporations are designed to protect you against. We're gonna freaking put you in jail or prison. We're not gonna let your assets be protected in the process as well. So they're gonna be able to blow through any of these corporate structures to go collect on any assets that Diddy might have, any of those victims in the criminal case. I hope this video is helpful and helping you understand how assets can be at risk in a lawsuit. Now, I've got a lot.
Now, so you understand, Diddy got these lawsuits. These people want their money. It's all a money grab. The government is going to sue Diddy for Bad Boy Entertainment and everything that he owned, because these people mentioned that it was the employees of this company and it happened at these companies. So that's what intertwined it to make it where now they could get it like the yacht. The yacht is up for grabs. If they could show that, you know, any one of these freak offs or any one of these alleged crimes, you know, happened on the yacht. So that's what's so serious about this. All about the money grab. All those people, the Ciroc, everything is going to be owned. And De Leon, you know, the Aqua Hydrate, all that is going to be owned by, you know, the federal government. And what is not owned by the federal government that they don't take from him in the forfeiture will automatically go over to the individual lawsuits. like that lawyer out of Texas, I think Houston, that said he got 120 people that's suing. Now, 120 people going after $1 billion, the government going after $1 billion, and then you got more. I seen something pop up on the news feed that said that it was 12,000. What was it? They said it was 12,000 calls that they had at the tip line for people that said that they was assaulted, essayed by Diddy and the company. Look at all these millions this man has, and now he's sitting in a jail cell. That's how real this is. I don't want nobody take this for a joke. Don't break the law. It's not worth it. They have laws set up in a way where they could go back and take everything you own. So don't think that it's sweet. Don't think that you're sweet. Don't think that you're slick, because ain't nothing slicker than the government, because they already know what they're doing and they going after the bag. Now, you're going to see all types of entertainers and rappers' names come up. We're going to have content for years dealing with this issue. There's no way in heck they could look through 8, 9, 90 terabytes, within 70 days that Diddy activated his speedy trial for. Speedy trial was the best thing that Diddy did, because by him asking for a speedy trial, that forced the government's hand to produce what they have and present what they have. But the government always have an ace in the hole. That's why they did that frivolous indictment. That was bull crap. That was just what you call a bare bones indictment. That was just something to take him off the street and to put something else into the mind of the minority voters that's so engulfed with this type of content that they're not going to pay attention to the political content. So mission is accomplished. Now, the election is November 2nd. They're going to drop a bombshell by now on November 2nd. Sit back, watch, and remember Unique Mecca Audio told you this. Now, that's the way the game is played, man. This is chess. They're playing chess with Diddy. They're playing chess right now. And right now, he's losing. Right now, he's losing. Everyone is screaming, lock up Diddy, lock up Diddy, lock up Diddy. Before this is all over, I put money on it, there's going to be a free Diddy movement, because there's always a yin and a yang, you know? Now, when I say a free Diddy movement, is because when people wake up and realize that this is a money grab by the government to go after the black wealth and bring it back into, the deficit, they're going to bring down the deficit off of Diddy. You know what I mean? They're going to bring down the deficit off the other future entertainers and things that they're going to be dealing with. You know what I mean? Just so you understand. Now, this is no joke. He did a really good job explaining this, and I love it. Now, let's get back to Diddy. Flossing got man patting his head. Check this out. Look at it. He paid a man to do all this. See the free shirt? He's going to have a free Diddy movement. Everybody's going to start yelling free Diddy when they realize that, okay, we want him locked up, but we didn't want you to rape his kids, so his kids don't have nothing. Because by the time they done, he's not going to really have much to give to his children after he don't work for 3 decades to accumulate this for his children. But he should have thought about that before he allegedly violated these women and men, because you got to remember, what's done in the dark will come to the light. And that's not what we're trying to have right now. We ain't trying to have no darkness. We just trying to have light and keep it moving. Make sure you cop the book of Roy in Harlem. Cop my man David the Duke Allen and Marcus Bishop Allen book, Royal Bloodline. I mess with this joint. I'm reading it. It's fire on October 16th. I plan on doing an interview with him. He's currently incarcerated right now. And, talking about the Duke. So the Duke will be on here on the 16th on the live, just so you know. All right. So now we done tapped in. We done gave you all the information. Don't say we didn't do it. We here and it's real. Cop the book of Roy in Harlem. Cop the book Royal Bloodline, by the David Duke Allen and Marcus, the Bishop Allen. All right, and hit the notification bell if you subscribe. If you're not subscribed, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Hit the like button, and you already know Instagram is on the screen. Unique Mecca Audio, Cash App is up there. Make sure you hit the icon that says it was created in 2020. Alright.
Cheers, cheers, toast the crime, toast the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime.
What?
Fresh out the can of 26,
yeah.
He back on the strip, getting back in the mix.
Yeah.
What he mentions a gift.
Right.
You stand up 10 toes down, and I suggest you pay attention to this.
Real.
Take a little gully posse and put it in hall. He cut from the bottom, came up from the bottom. Drop the book, you should go and get it. The Instagram page and the YouTube, you could go and visit.
Yeah.
Then you could consider yourself linked in.
Real.
Sit front row and get Jews from a kingpin. How he went through it, so you ain't gotta go do it. To not pay attention would be stupid. Talking about a man that probably put your grandfather on. Probably the reason that him and your grams got along. A man that generated millions on the block, did his time, never squilling to the cops, Mecca audio. Get it live like 2 G's in the 90s. Drop top beamer so shiny. I let shorty go, she was whining. Treat her like my past, she behind me. Spin a couple bands on the dapper Dan. You be back again, getting green like a Packers fan. No cap, it's a roaring uptown. Yeah, we horn uptown, Dominican bust downs. Now we on the positive, we got a lot to give. Now he trying to stop the kids from being inoperative. So take heed, homie, lend an ear. He started in uptown, he gon' finish dead. But now it ain't about selling drugs, buying cars. It's about buying property to make the community ours, so we can give back to the